What happened to television? Remember when our favorite shows lasted for more than 6 to 8 episodes? What was the reason for these mini-seasons, hypothetically? If you recall, it was supposedly so we would have a higher production value and no filler episodes. But more often than not, these tiny 8-episode seasons are lackluster at best and abysmal at the worst. Back in the day, we used to actually get quality television. Star Trek The Next Generation had 22 to 26 episodes per season, and with 7 seasons, that's a lot of Picard. 65 episodes were produced for the first season of Batman the Animated Series, which aired from 1992 to May 1993. And that was an animated television show for children that somehow managed to produce not only more content, but more complex and meaningful stories than a lot of shows we're getting today. Now, to be fair, not every show back in the day was great, and even great shows had really crappy episodes. But I think the difference is volume. When you have 5 bad episodes in a 26-episode season, it's easier to brush those stinkers off and be like, well, maybe it'll be good next time. But when you have 5 bad episodes in a 6-episode season, you feel those crappy episodes a lot more. So you're not taking crazy pills if you feel like old TV was better. Shows like The Rockford Files, Hogan's Heroes, or The Father Dowling Mysteries had a consistent level of quality in their writing, rather than the modern mystery box writing technique, where they don't really move the plot forward until the last 2 episodes of the season, like we've been seeing on many of these Disney Plus shows. Speaking of which, as much as I enjoyed seasons 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian, I gotta rag on the show a little bit here. What's with the 24-minute runtime? Aren't you a little short for a TV show? We used to get shows like Martial Law starring Sammo Hung, which managed to cram a police procedural and a mini kung fu movie into every 45-minute episode. Now, I'm not saying you can't tell a great story in 24 minutes. Batman the Animated Series and Gargoyles were able to achieve this, but they also didn't have their main character walk around aimlessly for half the show like Mandalorian. Speaking of Gargoyles, though, I might need to do a retrospective on that series at some point. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys are interested in. I know I don't talk about animation that much on this channel, but it might be fun to take a trip down memory lane and do a deep dive into some of the old action cartoons I enjoyed as a youngling, like SWAT Kats or the Ninja Turtles. Shows like that. Something else I honestly miss about classic broadcast television is how, for the most part, you could watch it with your entire family. These days, every show is trying to be Game of Thrones, with all the vulgarity and graphic violence that entails. Obviously, tastes vary, and this is my own personal opinion, but for me, I find it distasteful and unnecessary. I would also add that the shock value form of storytelling is a law of diminishing returns. The audience will eventually reach a point where they are no longer shocked by graphic violence, character deaths, and other, quote, mature elements. Sensationalism has always been a lazy alternative to good writing. And once it wears thin with your audience, eventually you'll be right back where you started, and you'll have to write a good, engaging story. It might seem like I'm an old geezer looking back to the good old days, but frankly, it's hard not to with the current state of entertainment. I do have hope for the future, however, because the technology is here to make it possible for independent creators to tell entertaining and meaningful stories. Whether it's through audio dramas, comics, short films, or animation, today it's possible for a small artist to have his or her voice heard around the world. So don't wait for the studios to get their act together, because I don't know if they ever truly will. When C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were dissatisfied with the state of literature because no one was writing the books they wanted to read, they rolled up their sleeves and they wrote those books themselves, giving us the Chronicles of Narnia, The Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings. So now is the time to roll up your sleeves creatively and bring some light and beauty back to the world. And that's our goal here, but we need your help to make that happen. If you'd like to show your support for the channel and our creative projects, you can buy a t-shirt from our Redbubble store. We add new designs every week. or become a one-time or monthly supporter on our Ko-fi page. A link for both is in the pinned comment. I want to thank all of my blue, brown, and gray wizards for their support. You guys make the magic happen here, and I couldn't do this without you. We're off to a great start, but we still need your help, so join us by becoming a monthly member, and let's create something together.